Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. And this time we will be doing a review and initial pose for this Hot Toys Qui-Gonn Jinn from the Phantom Menace. It just felt like the right move to do after the previous video I did, the Darth Maul one, the Darth Maul 2.0. As well as the short that I posted with Darth Maul fighting Qui-Gon Jinn. Plus, I guess it just makes sense outside of Chancellor Palpatine. Um, this is the next best thing as far as companion pieces are concerned, um, and that and Obi-Wan, which we don't have a Padawan version of Obi-Wan yet, but I do have an Obi-Wan figure. I So that's still coming up down the line. The review for that one, and as well as posting a short where we reenact the Duel of the Fates. But anyway, so this one's about Qui-Gon Jinn, and I just unboxed them when I posted the short, and this is the initial pose I decided to go with, the cloaked version, and him with his hand in a little Jedi mind trick type of pose, the waving the hand in the figures or in the fingers, the one that didn't work on Sebulba. So let's turn on the light so we can get a better view of the figure. And so far, I think this is a nice looking figure. The face sculpt and the likeness to Liam Neeson is excellent. However, if I were to have a gripe to it, and we will get further into it further down into the video, it is the hair, the head and neck articulation, and you will see why, as I mentioned, as we go along in the video. In the corner, you see I do have the lightsaber out, as I did the pose with that already, and as like with every Jedi that I own, they will be posed with a lightsaber. So this is just a preliminary pose as I put them away. When you do unbox the video, the figure, he does come wearing the cloak already, and the hands he comes installed is the two saber gripping hands. So let us put this in the forefront, and we will move Qui-Gon in the background for now as we focus on the box. And let's turn on this light. So your standard box. I actually think that's the figure. This is a photo of the figure. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Looks like they used the figure in all sides of the box. Standard fare. Nothing overly special, which I wasn't really expecting anything special. Just and when you do open the box, you are greeted to this sleeve, and Hot Toys agrees with me. The most sensical companion piece is Darth Maul. So they do tragically, if spoiler alert, which I'm hoping if you're watching this video, you've already seen the movie. Qui-Gon does get killed by Darth Maul. Sadly, I am a big fan of Qui-Gon's character. I wish he lived longer and he did more in the movies, but we got what we got. And you are greeted with these accessories. You got the swooshing saber, and then you have the. At the time when this figure released, they were still using the separating arm with the battery thing inside. I usually give it like 1 to 2 tugs, and if I manage to get it off, then I'll install it. If not, then it just stays in there forever. Sadly, this thing did play a Jedi mind trick on me. I pulled out this arm, and I did manage to get it off, and I thought success. But unfortunately, it was only like the forearm that took off, and I couldn't get the elbow part out, and I didn't want to use too much force, so I left it alone. It's not something that I'm going to risk breaking my figure, as these batteries don't even last that long. So unlike the Jedis that you get now, or the Sith and whatnot, they do come with the power bank. So, but at the time that this figure released, they weren't into that stage of their they weren't doing the power banks yet. They were doing the battery on the forearm stuff, which is quite annoying, to say the least. But it is what it is. Sorry for all the noise. Just trying to get these. So these are the hands that you get. You get 6 hands plus the 2 installed, so 8. You have an effect there. I believe that's Obi-Wan. This is Yoda. And then this is one for the starship when he was showing it to Sebulba. And then his communicator. So, nothing too over extraordinary, but good enough for this character anyway. You also do get this kind of poncho thing piece, which he was using when he was on Tatooine. I will not be installing that, so I'll be leaving that one bundled up for now. I may use it in the future. I doubt it. But if I do, then I will certainly do an update video when I refresh the pose type of deal. And then his lightsaber, which unfortunately we won't be able to light up. Alright. So there is a close-up of Qui-Gonn Jinn. Nice and cloaked. And the big reveal. Ta-da! So, the likeness is there. Really, really nice looking figure. Yep. Really good likeness. As my camera refuses to focus. So, anyway, let's go ahead and change out the hands, repose them, and see what we come up with. Alright, so this one's a quick and easy pose. Only changed out one hand and using the communicator accessory. So this one's good for a non-dynamic pose, but actually still iconic for this character. Although he wasn't wearing the Jedi robe, he was wearing his the poncho as the desert was hot. But yeah, so and iconic in a way that it was also the communicator that he was using to call into Obi-Wan about asking for the midichlorian count of young Anakin Skywalker, and he was telling him that he believes that this kid is something is odd about the kid, highest midichlorian count, and that he believes he's a chosen one and all that. So wanted to give that a whirl and see how he looks like. Um, Face sculpt is really nice. All right, I'm gonna spin this, and I'm hoping it doesn't fall. All right, there you go. Nice and slow. So there's the back. There's the hair. You know, the sculpting is really nice. It's a really nice looking figure. I'll say that. Qui-Gonn, the likeness to Liam Neeson is excellent, and I like how the robe looks. You can do a lot with it. The hoodie is kind of tough to work with. It's a little big, and I did notice it's missing. In the first scene in the movie when they board the Trade Federation ship, there's actually it looks like the neck area is clasped together, but there's not really a way to do that unless you just kind of overlap one over the other, or just do the optical illusion thing, put it as close as possible, and see if it sticks. But the cloak looks nice, the figure looks nice, the hair, the head sculpt, everything. I'm really happy with it so far. This one doesn't have moving eyes, as at the time this figure released, they didn't have that mandate yet where every figure is gonna have movable eyes, but it's quite all right. It's still a good figure, and I'm really happy I picked him up. I was holding off on picking him up as the prices were high at the time, as this is a older release, and I just lucked out. I got this from Toys Assembly actually, and it just made sense. Like when I picked up Darth Maul, I said I had to get my Qui-Gonn, and now's the time to do it. So now we're gonna be moving on to um, unrobed Qui-Gonn with lightsaber. Although maybe I'll try to pose him with the lightsaber with the robe on for now. Yeah, I will do that. All right. So this one is Qui-Gonn wearing the robe and holding the lightsaber. Semi-dynamic, nothing too overly dynamic. You're gonna find you're not gonna be able to do too many dynamic things with this figure to begin with. And to be honest, he wasn't really that dynamic in the movie either. Outside a couple of somersaults, but most of the time he just actually not even somersaults. He does like high jumps, but nothing really too athletic. Darth Maul was doing most of the awesome movement, but yeah, still a really nice looking figure. One thing I'd like to point out is look how dirty his robes are, his Jedi robes. Clearly, they went for the Tatooine weathered look, full of sand and just nasty. So I think what Hot Toys is trying to say is Qui-Gon doesn't shower. So when he fought Darth Maul, he never changed his clothes, he never showered, and he is gnarly and nasty. Qui-Gon doesn't have enough time for that. But yeah, actually, this is a decent pose. Um, I would consider leaving him in this. I think the Obi-Wan I have on display in cabinet is still wearing his robes. Luke is 100% wearing his robes, and so is Yoda. So, um, but then again, those haven't come up yet in my refresh and review series, so they will be derobed once I get to them. So I will be disrobing Qui-Gon Jinn as well. That sounds wrong, but it is what it is. All right. So I will disrobe Qui-Gon and put him in a different pose. All right. And here's another pose for Qui-Gon Jinn. I just wanted to show this one hands that it comes with. I do believe this is the hand he used when he did this thing to manipulate the die that Sebulba threw in regards to freeing Anakin and Shmi. Um, but so this isn't really a pose that he used for fighting, but I still dig it. I just wanted to show the sculpting on that pinky one. Um, so other than that, he doesn't really have a lot of dynamic hands, and most of the hands are for the right. He has this pointing one, so not really. It's not really something I have a desire to use. This one could be a force push hand. So, but I already know what pose I'm going to leave him in, and that's his saber stance. As I am actually a fan of his saber stance. I know it's kind of boring, as it's a very traditional. It's pretty much a traditional heavy stance. I don't know if you guys play Jedi Outcast or Jedi Academy and any of those. The When you use a single saber, you have the medium and light, medium, and heavy stance. So that's what I'm referring to when I say he uses the traditional heavy stance. Just the two-handed saber grip. Nothing too out of the ordinary. So I'll be posing him on that, and we'll show him off, and then we'll do the grades. All right. So, and this is obviously the stance I was referring to when it comes to Qui-Gonn Jinn. That's how he holds his saber. That's how he squared off against Darth Maul in that iconic Duel of the Fate scene. Um, so, yeah, this is a good pose I'm going to be leaving him in, as I know it's boring, but this is one of my favorite stances in in all of Star Wars. I don't know, call me traditional. I just like the heavy stance. Um, I believe in other media, Balon's skull also uses this stance, although I think his is a little more elevated. His arms are and elbows are a little more higher. And Balon makes sense for Balon's character. I don't know if you guys watch the Ahsoka series. Balon's a big boy, and of course, rest in peace to Ray Stevenson, who passed away, the person that played that character. Um, but yeah, I remember he uses the same stance, a little higher because he does hit very very hard. So as he spins around and stuff, see how extremely dirty he is. It's actually funny. The first time I opened this, I'm like, I wonder if he's excessively dirty. I got a bad piece, or I don't know, but I think that's just how it comes. So, having said that, let's go ahead and grade this figure. So for likeness, so for the look of the figure, we will go ahead and give him. I think we'll give him a 9 out of 10. While the head sculpt is the likeness to Liam Neeson is perfect. I think the hair could be a little better. Um, but his attire and whatnot, I think it's pretty much spot on. The hoodie on the Jedi robe is a little big, so that's another one. So I think 9 out of 10 is a fair score. Accessories wise, he does come with plenty. I'm not gonna dock the figure for coming with batteries, because that's how it was. Unless they make a 2.0, there's no really changing that, and I'm not really willing to pay for one of those aftermarket savers. Um, I mentioned in one of my other videos, it's figure should be the figure, and I shouldn't have to pay to make it look better. Um, and so for accessories, it comes with a lot. I think his hands are a little bit lacking, to be honest with you. So I think an 8.5 is appropriate. And fun factor, I think also an 8.5 is appropriate. There's not much dynamic poses you can put him in, which is fine. That's accurate to the movie. So I will dock it for um, the way the hair is made. The material for the hair is really, really, really hard. So when you try to articulate the head, it does get in the way a little bit, which is fine, I guess. Kind of unavoidable with um, characters with long hair, unless you do rooted hair, of course. But so I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna dock them for that. That's not Hot Toys' fault. It's the way the character looked. But still, that's part of what you pay for. So I don't really know how Hot Toys could have done better, but it is what it is. Not much you can do with the hair. No moving eyes, no alternative head sculpts or anything, so you can't really do like an angry look. You have one look, which is fine. That's how he looks. He was always serious, but I would have been happy if we got one more expression, the more furrowed browed fighting expression. But overall, it's a good figure. I think if I were to give it an overall score, it'd be about an 8 out of 10. Um, but posed next to like Darth Maul and Obi-Wan, and if you ever do like like a Star Wars battle war kind of deal, he wouldn't look out of place. He'd look really cool, and I think that's I guess as is with a lot of these figures, the the part of the fun is posing it with other companion pieces or not even companion pieces. Pose them next to Luke Skywalker if you'd like. What if scenario. Battlefront did it, so in Star Wars Battlefront you can choose whichever hero you want, and you have Rey fighting next to Obi-Wan and stuff like that. So it is what it is. Have fun with it. It's their figures, their toys, their collectibles. What have fun with it. It doesn't need to be 1-to-1 with the movie. So this didn't happen, so I don't want it. I will pose them next to Yoda and have no problem with that. Um, but yeah, overall, I do like the figure, and I'm really happy I picked them up. Um, Also, like the ankle articulation, there's not much you can do. There's not much posing you can do with this figure, but again, he wasn't really that dynamic in the movie. So you got with these figures, you pay for representation, and I think the figure does a good job of that. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you have any suggestions for any other poses, or if there's a pose you want to see or anything like that, just let me know. Um, I am not quite sure what the next figure I'll be doing with. I may go back to Lord of the Rings and finally do the Gandalf or Aragorn, or I may jump back into Marvel or DC. I still have the series I'm trying to do where I repose all my figures, and at the same time I do still have a few figures I have not opened yet. That I actually have There's figures I have that have been at my house and that arrived way before Qui-Gonn, but I decided to go with these ones. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the week. Happy hump day. And as always, enjoy what you collect and collect what you enjoy. And have a good evening.